Hey there nail friends, welcome to today's video. So I am going to show you how I have been applying my Polygel extensions. And this is my preferred method right now, but there are so many methods out there. I'm also going to do a dip powder mani later on with my Glitter and Grace dips. So first I prepare my nails by pushing back the cuticle and buffing the nail bed slightly. Then I go in with this nail prep dehydrator and apply this to every nail. Basically, this removes all the oils that can cause lifting. After the dehydrator has dried, I then go in with my nail primer and I apply that to my nails. I then fit each form to my nail, and so I'm using the Burano dual forms, and I just make sure that the forms fit from sidewall to sidewall and there are no gaps. You don't want there to be huge gaps, but you don't want it to go too far over either. I then apply this Burano 3-in-1 base coat gel to each nail. This basically gives the Polygel something to stick to, and then I cure it in the lamp for 60 seconds. The Polygel I'm using is this Acrogel Clear from Miss Cheering. I did purchase this from AliExpress for like $1.25. It's a great Polygel. It's sticky, but it works well. It's strong. I haven't had any issues with it yet, and it was cheap. I am going to also apply some paper forms. These are just your standard basic paper forms that you can find on Amazon or AliExpress or your nail supply store. They're cheap and they are nothing fancy. And these are basically going to create flat bottomed nails. The thing I've learned with Polygel dual forms, using dual forms, is the top is nice and slick, but the bottom is a clumpy, nasty mess. So if you put paper forms underneath, it creates a really smooth base for the bottom of your nail, and it just looks so much prettier on the underside. So I'm applying Polygel to the tip of my nail where it meets the form, and I am then going to take my dual form and do what I call the squish method, where I just kind of squish it down so that it spreads that Polygel around, and I force the gel onto the form into the length that I want it to be. You can do this a couple different times if you don't get it correct the first time. The one thing you do need to make sure is that you clean up around the cuticle area so that it's not oozing out, because that's not a whole lot of fun to file down. And then when you feel like you have a good amount of Polygel on, you apply your clear clip and you pop it in the lamp for 60 to 90 seconds depending on the wattage of your lamp. I'm then going to pop off the dual form and remove the paper form so that I can look at how the Polygel cured and make sure that I don't have any major bubbles, to see how thick it is and decide if I need to apply more gel or not. So you can see here that using both the dual form and the paper form, the top is super smooth and the bottom is super smooth. It's just kind of a different way to make sure that you don't have to do as much filing. I do go back in with some extra Polygel and add a little bit more structure to my apex just so it's stronger. And that's just something that I have chosen to do. I don't always do it. There are some nails that turn out great with an apex that looks fine. But in this particular one, I did feel like it needed a little bit more strength towards the apex area. That's just a personal preference thing. When going in with more polygel, just be sure to keep your layers thin near the cuticle area so that it doesn't look big and bulky there. It will not look natural at all if you have it thick up by your cuticle. So I trimmed the nail down with my nail cutter and then went in with my file, and I'm shaping and making sure that it's thin at the cuticle area and at the tip. I still have some structure at my apex area, and I'm shaping it into a tapered square. And now I'm going to go in on the ring finger and the pinky finger and do the exact same thing. I won't show you every single step, but I will show you the process of applying the polygel in the dual forms. So let me know down in the comments below, if you use polygel to extend your nails, what method do you prefer when applying it? I would love to hear from you. Also, if there's a method that you would like to see me try, let me know that as well. If you don't use polygel and you like to use extensions on your nail, what extensions do you use? Do you use tips? Do you use builder gel? Do you use acrylic? I want to hear that from you as well. I currently am only using polygel, but I will be planning a video in the next couple weeks where I try builder gel and maybe even some tips. As of right now, I won't be able to do any building with acrylic because I have discovered that I don't have a well ventilated area, and with 3 little ones in the house, monomer is just too strong smelling, and I just don't trust it with my kids. So I am just sticking with the gels because they are less pungent than the acrylic monomer, and even the low odor or the odorless monomers, I feel like they still smell strong enough that I don't really feel comfortable using it with my little ones. Alright, so now for the dip mani, I'm going to use my double dip base and these glitter and grace dip powders. The first one I'm using is this powder called Dusk. It's a gorgeous shimmery grayish purple color, and it is just beautiful. I am going to be using the pour over method to add the powder to my nails. I've found with nail extensions, these mini jars just don't have a good enough depth to really put your whole finger in, so the pour over method is definitely the best one. Plus, it keeps your layers thinner so that your nails don't get super bulky. So I'm trying to decide here where I would like to put the glitter on. I do have a glitter that I would like to use. I didn't know what finger to use it on, so I pulled up Instagram for some inspiration. I don't know how many of you do that, but I actually do that quite often. I get like a moment where I just don't have a clue what I'm going to do, and so I get inspired by pictures on Instagram, and that really does get me out of a rut. The next dip that I'm going to use is this gorgeous glitter and grace dip called Dragon's Den, and this dip is the most beautiful chunky glitter. I love it so much, and the shifts in it are just absolutely breathtaking. I decided to put glitter on my thumbnail instead, so I'm just applying it over top of the Dusk dip powder, and this is definitely not a glitter that needs to be over a solid, but I just changed my mind about how I wanted my manicure to look. So that pink silicone cover I have on my finger is actually like a finger protector that I bought from the Dollar Tree a while back. It's a set of 5, and I'm not 100% for sure what it's used for. I think it's supposed to be like to help you with sewing. I honestly don't know. I bought them to do soak off gels with, and found that these were great for patting down glitter. That way you don't get the base dip on your skin. So I decided to go in with a third layer of this Dusk Dip powder. I definitely didn't need to, but I discovered it was more sheer than I would like, and so I felt that I wanted it to be a little bit darker and wanted to use a third layer. So to apply the chunky glitter, I found that it works best to just lay your nail flat in the glitter and then pat it down with your finger. I actually forgot to put on my finger cover, so I got the glue all over my skin, but that's okay. It does come off, it just doesn't feel good. If you've ever had super glue on your finger, it feels a lot like that, so not super fun. So anyway, this is just the best way to apply this big, fat, chunky glitter in what I found. Okay, so I am going to add some glitter fade to the cuticle area of my middle finger here. And I've never really done a glitter fade or a glitter ombre, whatever you want to call it, before. So this was an experiment for me, I guess. I just grabbed this fluffy brush and I added some base coat to the cuticle area of the nail and then just kind of sprinkled my chunky glitter all over the cuticle area of it. And I did that a couple different times and I feel like it turned out pretty cute. I also added a few larger chunks in to random spots on this nail just so it would add a little bit more texture. I'm going in with a double dip 000 clear base powder, and I am just going to cap all of my nails with this so that when I file, I don't file into the glitter or the color. I also made a huge giant mess with my clear dip, so that was a bummer, but thankfully I have tons of it, so it's really not that big of a deal. I tried to add some more glitter chunks to this middle finger because I felt like the fade wasn't quite what I was hoping for, so I just added a little bit more to try and achieve a better fade, and then I'm scraping some of it off and just trying to work with it. Again, this is my first attempt at a glitter fade and it wasn't perfect, but it turned out okay. Now applying my double dip activator, and I am activating all of the nails. I do go over each nail with an activator liquid twice, just because, especially when you have a top coat or top dip, it feels like you need more to get to that bottom layer, and since I have even more layers of glitter and dip, it's just really important that you make sure that activator gets all the way down to the bottom dip layer. I filed these nails off camera because they were chunky, and now I'm going in with my Beetles base and top coat, gel coat, to give it that glossy shine, and I just love how shiny this gel makes the nails look, and it really just brings out the sparkle in those glitters. here is a look at the final mani. I just love how it turned out, and these glitter and grace tips are divine. If you have any questions, make sure you leave me a comment down below. Subscribe so that you see more videos from me in the future, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye guys!